Hey everyone, and welcome back to How to Speak Fluent English. I'm Amora. Today we're tackling a big one, how to truly speak English fluently, not just understand it or do well on tests. This is something so many of you ask about, and it's a journey I love guiding my listeners through. Maybe you've studied English for years in school, or perhaps you understand written English perfectly, but when it comes to speaking, you freeze up. Or maybe you feel like you have to translate everything in your head before you say it, and that slows you down. You're not alone. A lot of us didn't grow up in homes where English was spoken all the time, or maybe our school focused more on rules than real conversation. Our environment really shapes how we use language. But the good news, fluency is a skill. And like any skill, you can learn it and improve with practice. You can absolutely train your brain to think and speak more easily in English, no matter your background or age. So stick with me, because in this video, I'm sharing 6 practical steps that you can start using today to boost your spoken English confidence and fluency. Let's dive in. All right, step number 1 is all about changing your English environment. Think about it. Your native language feels natural because you're surrounded by it every single day. What you hear influences how you think and how you speak. To get more comfortable with English, you need to invite it into your daily life. The easiest way to do this, change the media you consume. Whatever you like watching or listening to, try doing it in English. Instead of watching that show in your native language, switch the audio or use English subtitles. Find a YouTube channel about something you're genuinely interested in, maybe cooking, technology, or personal development, and watch it in English. Listen to English music, podcasts, or even audiobooks. Let's say you love learning about fitness. Find a fitness instructor on YouTube who speaks English. Watch their workout videos or their tips on healthy eating. You'll learn about fitness and pick up natural English phrases and vocabulary related to that topic. Why does this work? First, you get used to the rhythm and sounds of spoken English, and over time, you won't feel like you have to translate everything. Second, you hear how words are actually pronounced by native or fluent speakers. Third, you pick up those informal phrases, slang, and common expressions that you won't find in a textbook but are used in everyday conversation. And finally, you build a specific vocabulary related to your interests. If you're just starting out, don't feel like you have to understand everything perfectly. Even grasping parts of it helps. You can even start with content made for children. It often uses simpler language and structure. And don't forget reading. Reading books in English is fantastic for expanding your vocabulary and seeing how sentences are put together correctly. Step number 2, you have to actually speak. This might sound obvious, but it's where most people get stuck. We can consume content, we can read, we can study grammar, but if we don't open our mouths, we won't get fluent. Why do we avoid speaking? Fear, we're afraid of making mistakes, of sounding awkward, or worst of all, of looking foolish in front of others. This fear is totally normal, and think about learning to drive. You probably felt a bit nervous at first, like everyone was watching, but here's a powerful way to practice speaking without any pressure. Try the imitation and video journaling method. How to do it. 1. Watch or listen to a short piece of English content, maybe a 5-minute video or a short scene from a show. 2. Afterward, turn on your phone camera and try to summarize or talk about what you just consumed in English. 3. You can also describe your day, talk about an object in your room, or just ramble about a topic you like. 4. Record yourself. Practical example. You just watched a short English cooking video. Grab your phone, hit record, and say something like, okay, so I just watched a video about making pasta. The chef used tomatoes and basil. It looked delicious and not too hard to make. Why record? It's a fantastic way to track your progress. You might feel like you're not improving, but watching old videos will show you how far you've come. That's a huge motivator. Speaking to the camera helps you get comfortable hearing your own voice in English and builds a unique kind of confidence. It makes speaking in real social situations feel much calmer. Yes, when you start, you'll probably stumble, pause, and forget words, that's okay. This is where the real learning happens, and you're doing it in the privacy of your own space. Keep doing it consistently, even for just a few minutes a day, and you will get better. Step number 3 is about training your brain to think in English. And one of the best ways to start is by writing. Many times we struggle to speak fluently because we're thinking in our native language, then translating it word for word in our head before speaking. This translation process is slow and causes us to hesitate. We speak most naturally in the language we think in. So how do we shift our thinking language? Start journaling in English. How to do it. 1. Every night before bed, find a quiet spot and grab a notebook or your computer. 2. Spend just 10 minutes writing about your day. Write about what happened, how you felt, what you liked, what you didn't like. Practical example, that today was busy. I woke up early and had coffee. Then I went to work. I had a meeting and it was interesting. After work, I cooked dinner. I felt tired but happy. Why journaling helps? It gives you clarity of thought in English. As you write consistently, you train your brain to process your experiences and feelings directly in English. It builds comfort with forming sentences in English without the pressure of speaking in real time. The key here is consistency, not perfection. Don't worry about grammar mistakes or finding the perfect words. The purpose isn't to write a masterpiece. The purpose is to get your thoughts flowing in English. The English improvement happens almost on autopilot as you do it regularly. You know more words than you think you do. Focus on getting your ideas down and forming basic sentences. Step number 4 focuses on building a solid foundation in grammar and sentence structure. Vocabulary is important, yes, but you can know 1,000 words and still not speak fluently if you can't put them together correctly. Fluent English isn't just about knowing words, it's about understanding how sentences are built and how ideas connect. When someone's grammar is off, you can sense that something isn't quite right, even if you can't explain why. How to improve grammar and sentence structure. Read, read, read. I know I mentioned reading earlier for vocabulary, but it's also one of the best ways to absorb correct sentence structure naturally. Books, especially published ones, have been carefully edited, providing you with excellent examples of well-formed sentences. Use tools to check your writing. If you're journaling, you can copy and paste your text into a free tool. It helps highlight complex sentences or common errors, showing you where you can improve your structure and clarity. Practical example, when reading a book, notice how different clauses are joined, how punctuation is used, and how sentences flow from one to the next. Try to identify simple, compound, and complex sentences. With a tool, paste your journal entry and see if it flags sentences as too long or hard to read, and then try rewriting them in a simpler way. Focusing on structure helps you move beyond just stringing words together and allows you to express your ideas more clearly and naturally. Step number 5 is all about the mental game, overcoming your fear and your ego. We talked about the fear of making mistakes, and it's a major roadblock. But equally challenging can be our ego, the part of us that wants to be perfect and doesn't want to speak unless we sound absolutely fluent. This can stop us before we even start. Let go of the need to be perfect. Native English speakers make mistakes. Fumbling, pausing, or using an imperfect sentence is a normal part of learning any skill. How to tackle fear and ego. Reframe criticism as feedback. If someone corrects you, and often people are just trying to be helpful, don't feel embarrassed or defensive. See it as a learning opportunity. Think, okay, thanks for the tip. Now I know for next time. This shows confidence. Understand that speaking English isn't about intelligence. You are not dumb if you're not fluent. Your ability to speak a language has nothing to do with how smart you are in general. Believing this will help you relax significantly when you speak. Practical example. Imagine you're talking to someone and you use the wrong verb tense. They gently say, "Oh, you mean yesterday, so went instead of go?" Instead of feeling embarrassed, smile and say, "All right, went, thanks." Taking it in stride makes a huge difference in your confidence. Remember, just like you likely don't dwell on the small mistakes others make, they aren't dwelling on yours. Your fluency journey is personal. Be kind to yourself, accept that mistakes are part of the process, and celebrate the small wins. And finally, step number 6, integrate English into your daily thoughts. practicing for just 5 or 10 minutes a day is a great start, but it's probably not enough to truly change your thinking patterns. You need to find ways to engage your brain in English throughout the day. Practical methods to think more in English. Describe your present moment. Look around or think about what you're doing and try to describe it in English in your head or quietly to yourself. Example: I am sitting at my desk, the sun is shining, I need to drink some water, and think out loud when appropriate. When you're home alone, vocalize your thoughts in English. Example: okay, I need to clean the kitchen. First, I'll wash the dishes, then wipe the counter. This helps you get used to forming sentences and hearing yourself. Make English your background sound. Play English music, podcasts, or even news broadcast passively while you're doing chores like cleaning, cooking, or exercising. You don't need to actively listen. Your brain will still pick up the sounds, rhythms, and patterns subconsciously. And this is similar to how you absorbed your native language as a child, just by being exposed to it. These practices, even in small moments, help you consciously shift your internal language from translation to direct English thought. It takes time and consistent effort, but it becomes more automatic. So, to recap, here are 6 steps to help you speak fluent English. 1. Immerse yourself by consuming English content you enjoy. 2. Practice speaking regularly, using methods like imitation and video journaling to build confidence and track progress. 3. Train your brain to think in English through consistent journaling. 4. Focus on strengthening your grammar and sentence structure by reading and using helpful tools. 5. Conquer your fear of mistakes and your ego by taking feedback constructively and remembering fluency isn't about intelligence. 6. Integrate English thinking into your daily life by describing, thinking aloud, and using it as background sound. Remember, becoming fluent takes time and effort. Be patient and kind to yourself throughout the process. Every little step forward is progress. I encourage you to pick 1 or 2 of these steps and commit to trying them this week. Let me know in the comments below which step you're going to start with, or share any tips that have helped you improve your spoken English. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next lesson. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.